I've been impressed with them. You know, when I first entered the conference, you know, I felt really good about the quality of coaches within the in the conference. But I think it just keeps getting better every year in terms of the numbers of quality coaches that come into the conference. Now, you know, obviously coaches can kind of come and go in the MAC, and so some you don't get to know as well as others. But they've been good people. I think they're good for college football. They're smart guys. They do a great job.
There's great tradition. There's been, again, as you mentioned, a lot of very successful head coaches, and you know, I just feel blessed every day with the opportunity that I've been given, and to be at such an outstanding school that really has the same focus I do, and that is to graduate our players and recruit the best quality student athletes that we can recruit. And it's a great league. You know, even when I was coaching in other leagues, people used to always call the MAC is the coaches league because they said everybody's got similar players and the coaches got to get the most out of them. And you know, and I agree with that somewhat. The level of talent within the entire league is very close, and there's just little small details that really are the difference from week to week and game to game. And I think those are the things that all of us coaches in this league are trying to drag out of our players to make sure that we're on the plus side of all those circumstances.
I think it's the diversity. I think you have a lot of different philosophies. You've got teams that want to pound and run the ball. You got teams that want to throw the ball all over the yards. You got defenses that are aggressive. You got defenses that sit back and play base. And I think with all the diversity that goes on and the different styles of offense and defense, I think it really helps the coaches in the league, their pedigree. It helps them to groom them for the next step, so to speak. And if you can find a way to win in the MAC conference and find a way to win in the weather conditions and the different venues that we have to play in October and November in this league, I think you can find a way to win anywhere.
We have phenomenal coaches in this league. I think it's a very underrated coaching league. And you look at Frank Solich, he's the oldest of the group, most experienced of the group, and he's kind of the godfather of all of us. And we all look up to him. We all respect him. A lot of us don't want to play him, you know. He's a phenomenal football coach. But then you look at, it's got both ends. You got Frank Solich, and then you got P.J. Fleck and Matt Campbell. But you look at Matt, what he's done. He was around a turnaround at Toledo, not as the head coach, but he was around as a coordinator. And then once it got turned around, he took over, and now he's taken it to another level, which I have a ton of admiration for him and what he's doing. So, and then you have everybody in between. You got Pete Lembo, who all he does is win. Pete is the nicest guy in the world, but he kicks your butt on Saturdays, and he loves doing it. And he's one of those guys that will talk to you, be your friend, and then for 3 hours he hates your guts, and he does a great job of doing it. I think we've added some phenomenal coaches with Dino Babers, with the high-octane offense from BG, and you look at Chris Creighton's one of the best coaches, I think. When you look at every level, he's done it the hard way and the long way, and he's really proved himself. So, I mean, it really is a cradle of coaches, and I'm honored to be within that group for however long I'm in that group. I'm truly honored and humbled to be in it, and I'm learning from them all the time.
Well, always great coaches have come to the American Conference because of the conference and where it is in relation to the Big Ten, the SEC, Pac-10, and ACC. Your better coaches get hired away quite often. So you see great young coaches come in, and the reality is a great young coach comes in, and eventually you're going to lose him. Because one, he's not going to win enough, and they're going to get somebody in that does, or he's going to win and they're going to get hired away. So you always see coaches at the prime of their, I shouldn't say the prime, at the beginning of their career, the Nick Sabans and the Urban Meyers, and go all back to Don James, and just the recent ones that we've seen that have been coaching the last 2 or 3 years. That takes you back a little bit there. But I think it's always been a cradle of young coaches that come in here, given an opportunity, they do well and move forward. So, I mean, other than guys like me and Frank Solich that are really on the other end of our careers, we like to think we can make an impact on this conference in a little different way.
Yeah, I don't know. Even when I was a young coach, like, it was always known as a coach's league. Like, people say that, well, Mac's a coach's league, and I get, you know, back when I was young, it was like Coach Blackney at Bowling Green and Coach Walker at Miami. You know, I never asked why they called it coach. Like, I just, there must be a bunch of good, you know, Nick Saban was at Toledo, you know what I mean? It's, I guess, probably just because since Bo, Woody, era rolled through Miami, and then apparently it wasn't just that Miami, you know, they were pretty good, you know, and it showed even back in the late 40s, early 50s with those three that a good coach is a good coach, you know. And then they went to Northwestern, Notre Dame, or went to Michigan, went to Ohio State, and so I think that just, and it's gone on and on. Miami's not the only place that have had, you know, Coach Mallory. You know, we got crazy amount. Walker, Hepner. I mean, they just kept winning. So I just think coaches, history's history. Coaches have left the MAC and kept winning, so therefore the MAC's been known as a great league to coach, and people are always looking for coaches out of this league because when you take a coach from a MAC school, typically they, you know, Urban Meyer goes to Utah, and guess what? Utah's pretty good all of a sudden, you know. So it's been the nature of the league, and it attracts good coaches to the league because they want to have those opportunities, but also it's great for the league for national recognition.
It's awesome. It's humbling. You know, I look at all the football players that have came through here that have had successful careers in the NFL and in life, and I look at all the coaches, assistant coaches and head coaches that have gone. So it is definitely humbling. It's something that I don't take for granted.